23, Maya Kone. Number 32, Barbara Nival. And number 33, Quinteria Blue. And now, tonight's starters. For Wekiva, at guard, a 5'8" senior, number 3, Maya Kone. For Blanche, at guard, a 6' senior, number 1, Janaya Moore. For Wekiva, at guard, a 5'6" junior, number 4, Shantaria Smith. For Blanche, at guard, a 5'7" sophomore, number 2, Micaiah Simmons. For Wekiva, at guard, a 5'5" senior, number 12, Brianna Williams. For Blanche, at guard, a 5'9" junior, number 3, Jalea Williams.
Spectrum News proudly welcomes you inside the RP Funding Center in Lakeland for our continuing coverage of the 2020 FHSAA Girls Basketball State Championships. This is the 4th of 5 championship games on this Saturday. It features the defending 9A champion Wekiva Mustangs taking on the Ely Tigers. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Lakeland. Austin Lyon, Andrick Frazier, our entire Spectrum News crew on hand for the FHSAA Girls Basketball State Championships. Let's show you how each of these teams got to today's championship game. Wekiva put up 80 in the semifinals against Braden River, their second highest point total of the season in a dominating win. Ely, a thriller against Winter Haven. They trailed by 6 with 1:20 remaining. Micaiah Lumsden with a game-winning layup as time expired to get the Tigers into the championship game with a 55-53 win. Outstanding guards, Andrick, for both of these teams. It starts with the senior for Wekiva, Myanna Garrett.
Wonder if she can really get the Broncos off and running today. This is a young lady who led the team in scoring in the semifinals. She had 21 points, but they had 2 other players also in double figures. The 5'8" senior can really go.
Just shy of 1,000 career points. And for Ely, it's Jalea Williams, fouled out in the semifinal, hoping to have a huge impact today.
The 5'9" junior is highly recruited, and boy, can she get after it defensively. 17 points and 5 steals yesterday in that win versus Winter Haven.
And you see her offers. They include Miami, Georgia Tech, and West Virginia. Picked up that offer after the semifinal win. Starting 5 for Wekiva includes Shadaria Smith, 5'6" junior, who is a transfer from Olympia, leading scorer for the Titans a year ago. Denisha Bowles coming off a career-high 21 points in Thursday's semifinal win. Wekiva coached by Tommy Butts, who is an Ely alum. Won a state championship as a player at Ely, coached at Ely for several years, and now is on the opposing sideline as his alma mater. Lineup for Ely looks like this. Micaiah Simmons and Zaria Blake both won state championships at Somerset Prep the last 2 years. They transfer in to Ely this season. And Jalen Ponder had the assist on that game-winning layup. And Henry McNabb likes to be known as JR. He is the coach of Ely in his first season. As you see on the graphic, he was the coach for those championship teams at Somerset Prep. So the balance of power shifts in South Florida. McNabb and a couple of the top players in the area going from private schools to Ely, and now the Tigers find themselves in the 6A state championship game. David Bowie, Maurice Wilson, and Sherry Kaminsky are the officials for this afternoon's championship game. Wekiva trying to go back-to-back. Ely looking for its first state championship since 1992. Should be an entertaining 6A final.
Both of these teams, Austin, like to get after it defensively. What a great slip of the screen unfortunately short on the layup attempt as Bowles.
Unable to finish, and quickly the other way comes Jalea Williams. Knew she'd be in attack mode, had to sit and watch from the bench for the final few minutes of the semifinal on Thursday after she fouled out. And that was a sign to a lot of people that maybe Ely was not going to win that semifinal against Winter Haven, but they found a way to get it done, trailing by 6 with 1:20 to go, and then that game-winning layup as time expired from Micaiah Lumsden.
Well, it seems some magical things here happened Austin in the past, but being able to beat a Winter Haven team, especially here in Polk County, is not an easy feat. These young ladies from Blanche have a lot of moxie.
Foul out high from Micaiah Simmons. J.R. McNabb got the job in early June, and after several of his top players had transferred in from Somerset Prep, he was able to get Ely into the Nike Tournament of Champions in Phoenix, Florida Prospects Christmas Tournament. There's no doubt that Ely was going to be one of the top teams in the state given the talent on the roster, and we are even at 2.
See what Wekiva setting up here in the matchup zone.
Bank shot goes down for Zaria Blake, 6'1" sophomore, and she was dominant in the semifinals. 15 points and 16 rebounds.
See the activity there on that possession. Sophomore looks extremely athletic.
6'1", she plays on the wing, and J.R. McNabb said by the time it's all said and done, she'll probably be the biggest prospect on the team. Aggressive drive by Shadaria Smith, and she earns a couple of free throws.
Jalea Williams, you mentioned her foul troubles in the semifinal. Really wants to have her in the game to help keep things steady on the offensive end.
Friendly bounce for Shadaria Smith, 5'6" junior. Averaged almost 12 points per game at Olympia last season, and she relieves a lot of the stress that Emmy James felt as the lone ball handler on this team. It essentially gives Wekiva 2 point guards who have the ability to break down the defense.
Ball handling is never the shortage, especially when you make it here to Lakeland.
Micaiah Simmons lets it fly from the perimeter. Garrett rebounds the miss. Deep three, no good for Briera Williams. Simmons gets to the free throw line, pass knocked out of bounds. Williams was one of the stars for Wekiva in last year's state championship game against Miami High in the large class. Hit a game-tying 3 with less than 10 seconds to go in regulation. Wekiva ultimately won the game in double overtime.
Wekiva doing a very good job on the matchup zone, playing wide and using their hands, forcing Ely to put air underneath the basketball on their passes.
Janiyah Moore just beyond the top of the key, and a good rebound in traffic by Garrett. Down low Bowles against a much taller player in Zaria Blake, but Wekiva another chance. Right down the lane, unchallenged at Smith.
All starts with great ball movement after the offensive rebound. Smith selling not on the jump shot, but attacking the paint, getting to a middle game for the easy 2.
It was interesting talking to Tommy Butts about the development of his team. Admitted that they were not very good in the early part of the year. Lost in the first week of the season to Lake Highland by 40 points, 74-35. They had some other lopsided losses in the early part of the year. They said it took time for them to understand what valuing the ball meant, what getting a good shot meant, and as the season has gone along, they've progressed a lot more, which is not uncommon for teams. You just don't necessarily expect that from a team that won a state championship a year ago.
Especially, but you talk a little bit about, some new identities and people playing in new roles too. So when you add new pieces to a puzzle, you have to make sure sometimes you're working out those kinks and ends so they fit.
It is a balanced team, not able to load up on one player. 4 players average between 7 and 12 points per game for Wekiva. James preserves the ball inside.
Great activity defensively by the Tigers. The deflection. I believe that was Williams knocking the ball out of bounds.
A length at every position for Ely. Allows them to play heavy pressure defense. Emmy James from the corner. Just a 24% three-point shooter, but she shot that one with confidence.
With a defender directly in her face, too.
James signed with Southern Miss. Now, Tommy Butts praised her leadership ability. Everyone on this team looks to her.
Great job boxing out, just unable to come up with the basketball as Bowles.
2 shots for Ely, and it stays at this end of the floor. Past the midway point of the first quarter, Wekiva leading by 5. Mustangs looking for their 3rd state championship. School opened in 2007. First title came in 2015. Won it again last year in the large class, 9A. Williams long with the 3, rebound to Bowles.
Ely really spread out wide defensively. See if Wekiva can attack gaps and beat the Tigers off the dribble.
Bowles muscled her way inside, stayed with it, and gets the second chance basket.
Bowles using the body to create space.
Wekiva forcing Ely into a lot of shots from the perimeter. Shania McCarthy in off the bench. Unable to get an opportunity in transition. Tigers hoisting another 3. Now 0 for 7 from three-point range.
I think it's safe to say that Coach Butts had a game plan and a formula which was going to force the Ely Tigers to beat him from the outside. Right now, offensively, playing right into his hands.
Emmy James gets into the lane off the screen. Gave that foul to Zaria Blake. So a couple of free throws for the 5'9" senior guard. James already with as many points in the championship game as she had in the semifinal. 4 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. Actually, her highest scoring average came in her freshman year, but she's found other ways to contribute.
We talked about the balance of this ball club, and that's one of the things that Coach Butts preaches, sharing the basketball and playing as a team, and have a little bit of full denial here on the wing, trying to prevent Simmons from catching the basketball.
A 9-point lead for Wekiva. Another difficult shot. Blake rebounds the miss.
Tigers finally find a way to get an easy bucket.
Off the kick, McCarthy with a challenge shot. This is where Ely's at their best. In transition, Jalea Williams stays with it, and she'll be on the line.
Just so fluid in transition. Pushing the ball downhill is Williams. Attacking defender with a little Euro step. Comes up short, but has the wherewithal to stick with it and grab the offensive rebound and get to the foul line.
Williams averaged 21 points per game as a sophomore last season. Numbers a little bit down this year, but J.R. McNabb said something that resonated with me when we talked to him on Thursday. He said she has the ability to score but finds so much joy in getting her teammates involved. You love to hear a coach say something like that.
Especially from a star player.
Mustangs get it across against the Ely pressure. Shadaria Smith short with the 3. Once again, Williams in attack mode. Off the kick, Simmons. Ely is still yet to hit a shot from three-point range, now 0 for 8. Garrett has it roll around and out.
Wekiva coming up short on that possession.
Well, Garrett able to take that away, and a crowd for Wekiva.
Think conditioning is going to come into play in this one, partner?
Well, Healy certainly wants to get up and down. Wekiva so far wants to limit the Tigers to a half-court game.
It's like Wekiva love to settle for the last shot of the quarter if possible.
Bowles kicks to the corner, and there's Garrett with a three.
Just the patience on that offensive possession of the Mustangs.
Down to 15 seconds to go in the quarter. Wide open underneath at the back of that zone is Moore. She gets the bucket to go, and Wekiva content to see time run out here in the first quarter. Solid start for the Mustangs. Wekiva seeking their third state championship, and they're up by 6. 16-10, Wekiva leading Ely after 1 here in Lakeland. Back at the RP Funding Center, 16-10, Wekiva on top of Ely. These two teams with much different postseason histories in a way, because Ely is a much older school. 27 appearances in the state series. Their championships came in 1984, 1992. Wekiva also with 2 championships, but the school opened in 2007. And talking to some of the Ely players on Thursday, they're well aware of the success that Melvin Randall and the boys program have had. They're trying to get their own shine here in Lakeland this week.
Well, it is something, you know, when you have winning programs at certain schools that starts to spin off. And I think you find a certain pride where you can get most of your programs to a successful level. So it is really exciting to see this girls program actually make it here this year, in a year where Melvin Randall could not get his guys team back here.
Down 6 after 1. There's the star of Thursday's semifinal, Micaiah Lumsden. Game-winning layup with less than a second to go. She comes in off the bench, scores right away here in the second quarter, already with as many points as she had in that semifinal. That was her only made field goal. And she's on the board here early in the second.
When Ely scores, it's a problem. And not because they've actually put the ball in the bucket, but because now they can set up their full court or three-quarter court pressure. You know, the ability to keep them off the books and off the glass so you have an opportunity to get the basketball in transition if you're Wekiva is very important.
James called for an offensive foul as the pressure was applied by Simmons.
Excellent ball pressure defensively.
That's the second foul on Emmy James, but no movement from the Wekiva bench. Tommy Butts, for the moment, will trust his senior to play with 2 fouls.
Big time decision. Let's see if it pays off.
Williams on the wing, one dribble inside the three-point line. Great box out by James.
Tough pass by James.
Last touched by Briera Williams. Did her best to try to throw it off an Ely player.
I think James is going to take a little bit of a break.
Shania McCarthy going to come on. So James sits with the 2 fouls and a turnover on the last possession. Ely 27-6 on the year. 4 of their 6 losses have come against out-of-state competition. Their only in-state losses came against Timber Creek, who was in the 7A semifinals, and IMG Academy, that by a point, 38-37. The travel whistled against Lumsden.
Lumsden caught shuffling her feet on the catch.
Bowles in the middle of the floor. Garrett, good job against the press. Briera Williams unable to hit the 3. And Jalea Williams wants to get it and go.
Sometimes nothing's more deflating than running the perfect press break, getting the shot you want and not being able to convert.
Micaiah Simmons with the 3, and that snaps the drought from the perimeter for Ely, now 1 for 10. Bowles in the middle of the floor, up ahead to Garrett. Nice find underneath. Briera Williams uses the glass.
Good job by Bowles, having her head up and locating her open teammate for the easy 2.
In heavy traffic, Blake rebounds the miss, stays with it.
Athleticism.
And free throws coming up for Zaria Blake.
Slash and move here by Williams, and then Blake just the quickest person off the floor. Good looking sophomore here, Austin.
Knocks in the first free throw. J.R. McNabb said she has the ability to be the best player on the team, the leading scorer if she wanted to be a little bit more selfish, but she's a sophomore. She's got older players in front of her. McNabb said he envisions a big summer for her, and you can look for her to take a big step forward next year.
You can see why all the excitement about her. And here Ely, 1-2-2 half-court trap.
Garrett's pass deflected by Blake, and it leads to a turnover. Micaiah Simmons missed that 3 and then gave a great look, turning the other way as if to indicate, I didn't just shoot that.
I think she was just saying somebody left the garage door open down here on the south side. A little bit of a breeze coming through.
A wry smile from Simmons as she gets back on defense. Smith whips it inside. Great catch by Garrett for the layup.
Carver's floor spacing is going to give them plenty of opportunities to make the right pass. Just have to continue to have patience offensively.
This is the type of possession Wekiva wants for Ely on the offensive end. Force them to try to execute in the half court.
He's doing a good job in the matchup.
Lumsden trying to force it into Blake. Unfortunately, last touch by Wekiva. Blake will get a breather as Jalen Ponder comes in. 7.5 points, almost 8 rebounds per game. She had a good floor game in the semifinals. Emmy James back in there with the 2 fouls with a deflection and a turnover.
Kava taking air out of the basketball. Unforced turnover. And I believe Coach Butts called a timeout first.
Officials said that before the ball was thrown away, Tommy Butts got a timeout. So a break for Wekiva's that was thrown right in between McCarthy and Tuze would have been a turnover. So 4-point lead for Wekiva with just less than 4 minutes to go in the first half. Mustangs trying to join these Orange County schools, which have won back-to-back state titles, 3 in a row for Dr. Phillips and Edgewater, between 2011 and 2014. Lake Highland Prep went back-to-back with Destiny Walker and Jordan Lewis, 2015 and 16. And now Wekiva with largely the same team they had a year ago, minus Sadeja Payne, outstanding athlete, trying to win back-to-back championships. It was in 9A a year ago, in 6A, and a chance to join elite company there with those programs.
Well, Austin, I mean, I often wonder, what makes Orange County and Orlando so special when it comes to its basketball programs? I mean, you hear about like kind of the whole South Florida dominance. It relates to football. Talk about Broward and Dade and how they run through straight championships. What is it about this Orange County talent that makes them so good?
I think it's a combination of skill and skill development among some of the coaches in the area, mixed in with some great athleticism. It seems like anytime Central Florida and South Florida get matched up, Central Florida tends to be the more skilled team, South Florida tends to be the more athletic team. But I think as time has gone on, that's changed, and the Central Florida teams that have come in here recently, and I'm curious what you think about this, to me, they're much more confident than they have been in the last maybe 10 years.
Well, I think some of that, too, comes, Austin, with just the repetition. I mean, it's not just what's going on, during the months of, October through March or February. I think it's the year-round programming that you see now taking place in the Central Florida area.
There's certainly plenty of that, and some fantastic coaching on the girls and boys side in Central Florida. Shadarius Smith with the transition layup, putting Wekiva up by 6.
Guess that was kind of selfish of us not to lead in with that, huh? There are some pretty phenomenal coaches.
We got it in. We gave them the love they deserve. Janiyah Moore from the corner, in and out. Once again, half-court possessions resulting in contested threes for Ely. A foul on the rebounding action will go against the Tigers.
At some point, these three-point shots by Ely have to start falling. I can't imagine they're lining up this many if they don't hit these at a decent rate normally.
Ely in the semifinals here against Winter Haven, 4 for 23 from three-point range, and so far they are 1 for 12.
It's about right on pace. Yeah, Wekiva just patient, holding on to the lead in the basketball. Continue to work the zone.
James into the lane. What a find inside. Garrett with the finish. How about the vision by Emmy James?
Again, nice hands by Garrett. Not an easy catch.
James playing a major role out there with those 2 fouls. Moore long with the 3. Blake rebounds. Her shot altered by Bowles. Down to the floor. McCarthy looked like she was able to come away with it for Wekiva. Instead, it's a jump ball, and the arrow will give it back to the Mustangs.
Ely with an opportunity on the offensive glass, and the sophomore unable to convert.
Briera Williams back in for Wekiva as McCarthy sits. A great game plan so far from Tommy Butts. Ely averages almost 60 points per game, and they are sitting on 16 with 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
Unbelievable job of dictating pace and taking care of the basketball. Again, just continue to dribble air out of the clock.
Emmy James, another one-handed pass, knocked out of bounds by Ely.
Be a good opportunity here for Ely to trap on the underneath out of bounds. Try to force it in the corner and see if they can get a strong, solid trap. There it is in the corner.
Garrett able to dribble out of it. Bowles with a slight extension of that off arm, and she gets whistled for an offensive foul.
I think that was a combination of a little bit of contact and Blake losing her footing.
Not enough there for me.
I'm with you on that. Ely may have a pretty decent drama program, though.
So the call goes against Wekiva. Coming up on a minute to go in the first half. Mustangs by 8. Wekiva's led by as many as 9. Ely scored the first basket of the game. That's their only lead. Baseline drive, Williams against 2 defenders, and that's been Ely's best offense. The offensive rebound by Ponder, and the easy bucket.
Tigers continue to claw their way into this contest, not letting the lead get too far ahead for the Mustangs.
Off the kick, corner 3 for Briero Williams. Game-tying 3 in last year's state final with less than 10 seconds to go in regulation. Williams with her 30th 3 of the year.
Great job by James moving her feet. Forcing Williams behind the backboard, nearly causing a turnover.
James has to be careful here. 2 fouls in the final seconds of the first half. Blake has the rebound knocked out of bounds by Garrett. And they say it'll be Wekiva ball with 8.7 seconds to go.
Got a chance to get a push in the bucket here if you're Wekiva.
Bowles up ahead, Williams. Skip pass, Smith into the lane. The floater goes in as time expires. Great execution by Wekiva. Shadarius Smith scores as time runs out. Wekiva scores the last 5 points of the second quarter, and they've got their largest lead. It's an 11-point margin. Wekiva on top of Ely. Things going well for the Mustangs in their bid for back-to-back titles. Hendrick and I will be back for the start of the third quarter here in the 6A championship game. Back at halftime of the 6A championship game at the RP Funding Center, Wekiva on top of Ely 29-18. Mustangs closed the half with an 11-2 run, and they have an 11-point lead at the half. Austin Lyon, Andrick Frazier, our entire Spectrum News crew on hand for the FHSA Girls Basketball Championships. Andrick, what stands out about the first half stats?
Well, there are a couple things. One is Wekiva 52% from the field compared to 23% for Blanche. Ely 1 for 13, not helping the cause for the Tigers. The only reason they've really been able to stay in this contest is that their ability to rebound, especially on the offensive end. But Wekiva is so unselfish. 11 field goals, 10 of those coming off assists.
That goes to what Tommy Butts told us about this being a team that has 5 or 6 different players that can hurt you. They don't just rely on 1 or 2 to get the job done. They really share the ball and have balanced scoring. Tommy Butts, once the coach at Ely, had a good run as the coach of the Tigers, 137 wins in 6 seasons. And in fact, the last time Ely got to the state tournament in 2007, he was the coach. And you see, it's been a long time since the Tigers have even played in a championship game. Made it here several times between 1993 and 2007. In all of those occasions, they lost in the semifinals. And now, 28 years after winning their last title, they get a chance to play for another championship.
Well, if they're going to want to have any chance to stay in this contest, it's going to have to start with them on the defensive end. This is a ball club that forced 17 steals in the semifinals. When you're talking about Ely, so far only 2 steals for them tonight. That means the turnovers that Wekiva does have, their dead ball turnovers, allows them to get back and set up their defense and not give up transition buckets.
Ely 4 for 24 from 3 in the semifinals, 1 for 13 so far this afternoon. Ely, a team that averages almost 60 points per game. Micaiah Simmons misses the jumper from inside the free throw line.
A pretty wide open shot.
James absorbing a lot of pressure there from Williams. Bowles cutting toward the basket, and it's a double dribble.
That was a lot of contact as trying to cut towards the basket was Bowles. Wekiva contending, really packing it in. They're just trying to get close on the catch.
3-point shot in and out from Moore.
Opportunity for numbers here for the Mustangs. Oh, way to move your feet, sophomore. Great defensive play.
Sorry, Blake forcing the turnover. Ponder attacking and scoring.
Talked about those live ball turnovers, and there you see it playing right into the hands of the Tigers.
A poor decision from Briera Williams, but the ball ends up in the hands of James. And an open layup from Mayanna Garrett. A big break for Wekiva there. This is the largest lead for the Mustangs. It was close for most of the first half until Wekiva went on a late run. Simmons off the back rim with the 3 offensive rebound. And that's going to be Wekiva ball. That went off the shoe of Ponder.
Ely not doing a good enough job of rotating this basketball against the zone. Just you got to fake a pass to make a pass. Opportunities on long closeout is when you want to look for dribble penetration and gaps.
Williams working to deny Emmy James and take her out of Wekiva's offense. A rush shot there, much to the dismay of Tommy Butts. Yet another quick 3 from Ely.
Yeah, the Tigers have not gun shy at all from long range. Here again, the patience offensively of Wekiva.
combination of good ball movement, good player movement so far from the Mustangs. James with a slight extension of that off arm. And this time the call is going to go against Ely. A foul's on Micaiah Simmons, and it is her third. Haven't been a lot of fouls committed in the game, but now 3 on Simmons. Just 5 fouls for Ely in the entire game thus far.
Both teams do a really good job, Austin, of moving their feet defensively.
James took a look inside, back up top, Shadaria Smith.
Nice cut. Better hands defensively with Simmons.
And a foul will go against Wekiva. That's on James, and it's her third. Same situation for Wekiva. They've committed only 5 fouls the entire game, 3 of them on James. So 3 on James, 3 on Simmons. 2 of the best players for each team. Wide open corner 3 for Moore. This time it's an air ball.
I think at this point, I know you don't want to ruin the confidence of your players, but at this point I'm asking my team not to take any more threes unless it's on the inside out. Nothing on the first rotation. You got to find better ways to get shot attempts. These are wasted shot attempts right now if you're Ely.
And the more you miss, it's got to mess with your confidence as a shooter, right?
No, not at all, which is why they continue to shoot it. There's no lack of confidence at all in any of these attempts.
Ely is 1 for 17 from 3. And threes make up almost 50% of their shot attempts in the game. Another one hoisted from the corner. No good off the hand of Ponder. Out of bounds, it'll stay with the Tigers.
Ely needs to find a way to score to set up their pressure. If they can't score, they can't press.
Simmons puts it on the deck, trying to create something off the dribble. Garrett comes away with it, and she is hit as the ball comes free.
Austin, even though that wasn't a converted shot attempt, that is a much better offensive possession. You get the defense in a position where they're compromised when you're attacking the rim, which allows you, if you do miss a shot, to have an opportunity offensive rebound.
Lumsden has come in off the bench for Ely. And she is guarding the ball.
M&M's look tasty.
And James had a short chat over there with Tommy Butch. She has now come back in the game with 3 fouls.
Look at the ball handling.
That's Bowles at 5'11".
Your 4, your 5 handling the ball in the press. Now, what's the call here? A kick ball. That is the second time I've seen a kickball called today on the offense.
It looked like Ely had gained possession. Lumsden can't believe it. She was the one who made the play happen by getting in the passing lanes. Smith surveys and attacks. Last touch by Ely.
Coach Butch just wants his team to calm down. Just take a time to get the shots that we want to dictate.
Bowles got past Blake. A little bit too strong with the shot. Blake boards the miss.
See if Ely can convert on the opportunity with the fast break.
Williams to Lumsden. Got hit on the way up.
Jayla Williams in the open court is a scary sight. And Good job of Lumsden not settling for the jump shot, attacking the rim and drawing the foul.
Similar way that Ely won the game here on Thursday night against Winter Haven, rebounded a miss and went the length of the floor with Lumsden making a layup. And her comeback is a great story. She missed all of her sophomore year, suffered a head injury that resulted in her having seizures, changed her diet, now taking medicine. It's been more than a year since her last seizure, and as a junior, a huge contributor to Ely coming back here to the state tournament. And what a moment for her on Thursday to be able to make the game-winning layup in the state semifinals.
Talk about toughness. Having to battle through something like that. I'm pretty sure the pressure of making the shot as time expires in the semifinals, nothing compared to what this young lady's had to overcome.
Sure-handed catch by Shadaria Smith. Well, Simmons got a hand inside, and if that's on her, it's going to be her fourth foul. It is on Simmons, so the second leading scorer for Ely now has 4 fouls with 3:23 to go here in the third.
We've played, partner, almost 5 minutes of basketball, and each team has scored 2 points each, huh?
Two missed free throws from Smith. Wekiva very content to keep things the way they are. I'm not sure Ely would be happy with that. Lumsden making something happen. Blake unable to finish. But the Tigers get it right back. Williams tracks down the pass to Lumsden underneath for the lay-in. A timeout for J.R. McNabb. Even though Ely's been quiet offensively, certainly a team that can score in a hurry.
Well, this is where the Tigers are extremely dangerous, forcing turnovers and then converting them into buckets. And a great job by Jayla Williams pushing the basketball into the crease, drawing the defender, and dropping off a bucket for Lumsden.
Wekiva by 9 with 3:02 to go here in the third. Talked about this at the top of the broadcast, but Coach J.R. McNabb trying to win a third consecutive state championship, won back-to-back titles at Somerset Prep in Class 3A. Micaiah Simmons, Zaria Blake, and Maya Kone, part of those back-to-back titles at Somerset. And all 3 players transferred in to Ely in the spring. Majority of this team played together in middle school. They wanted to be back together, and Ely is without Maya Kone, who's one of the top sophomores in the country. She is sitting on the Tigers bench in a jumpsuit. She tore ACL in July, is recovering well, but Coach McNabb said she probably won't play at all this travel season. Kone was a viral sensation. She had a thunderous dunk with her left hand when she was 13 years old. And now one of the most coveted sophomore prospects in the country.
It's a big piece missing from this year's ball club. We're talking about changing the dynamic of a game.
And someone who would provide a huge presence on the interior for a team that's settled for jump shots virtually the entire night. Ely ratcheting up their pressure, especially off the ball. Shadaria Smith able to drive it in. One-on-one, she wins against Ponder.
Well, she loves that teardrop, doesn't she?
Had one at the end of the first half, and one on that possession to stretch the margin back to 11. And finally, a three-pointer drops for Ely. It's Jalen Ponder. That's their second 3. They're now 2 for 19.
Sometimes, partner, all it takes is to see one going in. And what foot movement by Blake.
Bowles ran over Zaria Blake. She takes the charge. You can sense some momentum building now for Ely.
Here's just the opportunity to finally get one to fall from long range.
After a missed three, Lumsden deflects the outlet pass out of bounds. Lumsden playing with a lot of energy.
Sometimes you just need that spark, you know? Someone to be able to get you going. See if she can help spark these Tigers.
There's Lumsden, a deflection and a steal. All the way in, she lays it in.
Great job at shooting through the passing lane. Yet another steal for the Tigers.
Lead is down to 6 for Wekiva.
Things are starting to wake up a little bit here in the RP Funding Center.
Ely really working to deny Garrett and James the ball. Foul off the ball that time goes against Janiyah Moore. It's her first and the fourth on Ely. Bulls got free inside. And will have a chance for a three-point play.
Underneath, out of bounds play, executed to a T. Great job on setting the back screen. Was McCarthy freeing up Bowles.
Bowles a career high 21 points in the semifinal. She had 17 of her 21 in the second half as Wekiva routed Braden River in the third quarter. Came off the bench last season, now has a chance to start, even though her scoring average is a little bit lower this year than it was last year. Again, just part of the balanced attack for Wekiva. Offensive rebound, Ponder.
Tigers keep coming back with answers.
And every time they score, it seems their defensive energy picks up. Blake into the passing lane and all the way in for two.
Partner, I'm not sure if you counted those dribbles from the time she deflected the ball back here in the backcourt. That was 3 dribbles into the rim.
Long strides for 6'1" sophomore Zaria Blake. McCarthy off the glass, no, and Blake's got it again.
Look who it is on the backside.
Lumsden with the basket and the foul.
Zaria Blake here with the push and unable to finish at the layup, but on the backside is Lumsden. The opportunity for the and one.
Free throw no good, stays a 3-point game. And Tommy Butts would love to have his team take the last shot here in the third quarter. Down under 10. Smith works off a screen. Nothing there. Now she attacks. Off the glass, no, but a foul with 3 seconds to go.
Wekiva handling pressure, settling, try to take the last shot, and coming off the ball screen is Smith. Drawing contact from Lumsden.
This run for Ely has come with Micaiah Simmons on the bench with 4 fouls. Lumsden, Blake, the players that are making it happen right now for Ely. Second free throw, no good. Williams got it away in time, off the backboard. Ely has whittled an 11-point lead down to 4. 8 more minutes here in the 6A championship game. 37-33, Wekiva holding on to a 4-point lead. 4-point game here at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland. Austin Lyon, Andrick Frazier, our entire Spectrum News crew on hand for the fourth of 5 FHSAA Girls Basketball Championship games. Wekiva trying to win its second consecutive state title, and certainly a team that knows what it takes to win in the playoffs. Since Wekiva entered the postseason, their average margin of victory, 32 points. And while they played much tougher competition in the regular season, it's also an indication that Tommy Butts has his team playing their best when it matters most.
Yeah, I mean, really do use the regular season as a test and preparation for when the district playoffs start, and that's when you want to see your teams peaking. But this is a team that knows what it takes to get here. These young ladies have been focused. Let's see if they can hold on for the next 7 minutes and 56 seconds.
And players like Garrett, James, Bowles, Briera Williams, huge parts of last year's state championship and a game that came down to the wire. The miss by James, Jalea Williams. 2-on-2, that went off her leg. It's out of bounds to Wekiva.
Williams wants to make the next evolution of her game because she's so quick. Being able to get to the paint and settle for a 10-foot jump shot is going to be something she's going to have to do at the next level.
Smith, bounce past Garrett. Unable to get that to go. Ponder pulls it down for Ely, and the long outlet pass to Lumsden.
Great decision by Lumsden, not forcing the issue.
Ponder's 3, not even close.
Another wasted possession by Ely.
Timeout, Wekiva with 6:57 to go. A full timeout for Tommy Butts. Wekiva opened in 2007, already 2 state titles, a couple of runner-up finishes. Ely also seeking their 3rd state title, but the first since 1992 here in Lakeland for the first time since 2007 when Tommy Butts was the head coach at Ely. The resume for Butts is impressive. Had a 6-year run at Ely in which guided the team to the state semifinals. He won a state championship at Ely as a player. Was an assistant at Dr. Phillips during their great run, and now 2-time state champion as the head coach at Wekiva.
I can remember sitting here years ago watching games with Coach Butts before he took the job at Wekiva. He talked about, what a great opportunity he thought it was going to be and how he was going to coach up some girls, and he was going to be here. You just wait. He was going to be here year after year. He stuck to his word.
And until his arrival, Wekiva was largely a non-factor, an afterthought in Orange County, where there was so much basketball talent. At the time, you had Edgewater and Dr. Phillips at the peak of their runs, but he has certainly delivered on that promise in a big way.
He can put down some Freds, too, from what I can remember.
I believe that. You set your mind to do something, Coach Butts is going to do it all the way.
Mustangs here again, spreading out the basketball, looking for opportunities to attack on the dribble or get a backdoor cut.
James picked up her dribble. She's in trouble. Luckily able to hoist it to Shadaria Smith across the floor. Now at some point as this pressure builds, you got to be ready to attack. Turnaround jumper, no good. Smith locked up with Ponder. Jump ball in the possession arrow will give it to Ely.
I think Coach Butts is satisfied too with milking the clock as much as possible. Wekiva will be on the bonus the rest of the way.
At 37-33. Both of these teams well below their season averages. Not uncommon for a state championship game. Wekiva Miami High was 45-41 last year, and those teams went 8 extra minutes, an entire extra quarter. Game went 2 overtimes. Blake with another offensive rebound, and the lead is down to 2.
So quick off her feet.
Smith, spin dribble in the lane, heavy traffic. How did she get that to go?
I don't even know how the ball got through the defenders. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
13 for Shadaria Smith, the Olympia transfer, with a lot on her shoulders here in the second half as Ely tries to take Emmy James out of the game. Underneath, Lumsden wide open. Great find by Williams.
See Smith telling her teammates that's my fault, got sealed on the backside. You have to get inside of the offensive player, not giving an open lane to the bucket.
Denisha Bowles all the way in. She'll be on the line.
Smith here, the magician, with the spin move, and through about 6'6" worth of arms, finds a way to kiss it off the glass.
Bowles 53% at the line. Followed up her career high 21 in the semifinals with 6 so far in this championship game. A couple of clutch free throws there. 4:38 to go, and Wekiva is up by 4.
See what Ely can get done on this possession.
Some contact on that drive by Williams. Well, even in the half court, Ely having a lot more success getting the ball into the paint.
They're doing a really good job, I think, of being patient and finding ways to attack the zone. Starting to soften up a little bit.
That foul was on Emmy James. It's her 4th. So 4 on James for Wekiva, 4 on Micaiah Simmons for Ely, who we have not seen since the early part of the 3rd quarter. Jalea Williams hits both. She's got 6. Back to a 1-possession game.
Full court pressure here by Ely.
A deflection. Shadaria Smith gives it away. Moore is fouled, and she'll have a chance to tie the game at the line.
Thought Buzz had an opportunity to call a timeout. I guess he didn't want to waste one on that possession, but just a very tough place to pass the basketball against pressure. Good job by Ely coming up with the loose ball and having an opportunity to charity strike.
Janiyah Moore, the primary 3-point threat for Ely. 0 for 11 from behind the 3-point line today, but a chance to tie it up at the free throw line. Ely's made 4 straight at the line, and we're tied at 41 with 4:07 to go.
Well, here we go, partner. Let's strap it in. 2-2-1 full court trap.
Tigers trail by 11 in the early moments of the 3rd quarter. Another steal and a foul on Moore, and she'll be on the line.
Wekiva was one ball fake away from executing a perfect press break, but if that's a ball fake and bounce pass, that's a 2-on-1 going the other directions, but the deflection leads to the steal by Moore and an opportunity for 2 more from the charity strike.
Ely has come all the way back to take the lead. 1 of 2 for Moore, 42-41. Tigers by a point with under 4 to go.
You have to stretch the floor if you're Wekiva. That's not stretching the floor.
Garrett fading away off the back rim and rebounded by Moore. Now Ely not nearly in as much of a rush that they've got the lead.
And that possession there just really forcing Wekiva to play uncharacteristically fast.
Williams off the screen into the corner. Finally a three goes in for Janiah Moore. 1 for 12. Could not have picked a better time to knock one down.
Partner, you were asking me about that thing called conscious. It does not exist with shooters.
Garrett to Bowles. Some contact and she'll be on the line.
You know, at some point, you knew the seal was going to break for Moore. Left the gooseneck up and now giving you the 3-point goggles.
Seven points for Moore. All of them have come here in the fourth quarter. Wekiva's gone from an 11-point lead to a 4-point deficit. One of 2 for Bowles. It's a one-possession game, and the Mustangs come with some pressure.
See if Ely can handle the trap.
A timeout by J.R. McNabb. 2:55 to go. Ely certainly a battle-tested team. 27-6. A look at some of their close games during the postseason. Against Dillard in the district final, tied at 44 in the fourth. They were able to outscore the Panthers 9-5 down the stretch. Similar situation with St. Thomas Aquinas in the region semifinals, and then the game against Winter Haven here on Thursday, trailing by 6 with 1:20 remaining. They were able to beat Winter Haven 55-53 with that game-winning layup from Micaiah Lumsden.
If you're Coach McNabb, you know, you're telling your team, look, we've been here and we've done this before. Let's just make sure we stay in the contest, take care of the basketball, and attack the rim.
A year ago, Ely 21-9, lost to St. Thomas Aquinas by 20 in the region semifinals. Wins in that graphic over Dillard and Aquinas illustrated. In the last 9 games, Ely's beaten Dillard twice, Aquinas twice, and Nova twice. Those 3 programs are among the standards for success in South Florida.
No better way to get battle tested, my friend, than right in your own region, I guess. Some half-court pressure here.
Garrett at the top of that trap for Wekiva. It was the Mustangs that were trying to milk the clock and preserve the lead, and now a role reversal. Ponder catches it in the corner and lost the handle.
Not quite sure what she wanted to do with the basketball once she caught it.
James out there with 4 fouls. Dangerous pass from Smith. Bowles turned down the screen. Got to her spot and laid it in.
She has a very deceptive quick step, Austin, especially off of the hesitation.
Bowles in double figures with 10. Moore inside Blake. Layup good, back to a 3-point game.
Blake continues to be active around the basket. Mustangs have to get the ball across half court.
And they just do, but it comes at a price. Dangerous pass. Last touch by Blake. So it'll stay with Wekiva in front of their own bench. 93 seconds to go, and finally, here comes Micaiah Simmons on for Ely. Janiyah Moore will sit after an explosive fourth quarter. She scored 7 points in the period to help Ely come back. And now Simmons back out there with 4 fouls. James being hounded by Jalea Williams. Drive by Garrett. Shot won't fall. Rebound Ely. And a foul against Garrett with 1:08 to go will put Ely at the line.
It's not a bad foul. It's one-on-one on the opposite end, but Garrett had a look at point-blank range, just unable to convert.
Ely 8 of 13 as a team at the line. Jalen Ponder steps up. Nine points for the 5'9" senior. In and out. Bowles, spin dribble, nearly traveled, she turned it over. Ponder with the steal, dropped it off, layup no good, and a foul on the rebounding action goes against Ponder. So Emmy James will be at the line for a 1-and-1 with 54.3 seconds to go.
If you're Ely on that possession, you got to understand time and score. And I know if you make that bucket, you're up 5, but pulling that basketball out, taking some of the air out of the ball, off the clock. Instead, now you have the opportunity for Emma James to cut the lead to 1.
Now 52%, but basketball people will tell you, throw out the percentages in the final couple minutes of a game. James steps up and buries both. 1-point game, timeout Wekiva. Each of these teams chasing a third state championship. Wekiva trying to go back-to-back. Mustangs won it in 9A last year. FHSAA reducing the number of classifications this season, so the Mustangs down in 6A. But the chance for a second consecutive title. Ely trying to win their first since 1992. Match all the success of that boys program led by Melvin Randall. What are the priorities for each team here in the final 54 seconds?
Ely, the number one priority is take care of the basketball. Especially not want to turn over if it's live. You have 3 timeouts. If you're Wekiva, you want to keep the basketball in front. Maybe try to get 1 or 2 hard traps. Once the ball crosses half court, sail into your half court defense and see if you may be able to force a turnover.
Blake, you're going to take it all the way in. Bounce past Ponder, and they'll back it out. 45 seconds to go. The dribble got away from Simmons, but able to gain possession.
So you want your best free throw shooters handling the basketball.
They get Garrett for the foul, and clear based on her reaction that she didn't want to give it to Jalea Williams, the leading scorer for Ely, will shoot a 1-and-1.
Well, these are the type of situations you practice in your backyard as a kid, right? Pressure free throws, up 1, down 1. Very little time left on the clock.
She had that look of someone who wanted to be at the line, and that first free throw was pure. Wekiva's been here before. They trailed by 3 late in last year's championship game against Miami High and hit a 3 to tie it with less than 10 seconds to go. Bowles, great handle on Blake, and then it went off her leg. Williams across the midcourt line, wrapped up by Smith with 23.5 to go. And it will be a two-shot foul.
Both team in double bonus the rest of the way, and just not a good possession for the Mustangs.
The first one was the biggest. That makes it a two-possession game.
Big shot here for the sophomore. Excuse me, the junior.
10 points for Jalea Williams. Zone pressure.
Gotta stretch the floor if you're Wekiva.
Another turnover. Emmy James gives the foul. That's going to be the last play of her high school career. She's going to foul out with 16.1 to go.
Now, I thought they needed to stretch the floor to possibly try to get the ball advanced. And again, another steal for Ely. Partner, remember I talked about how well Wekiva was taking care of the basketball in the first half, those turnovers? Ely had 2 steals at the half. They now have 11 for the game.
And Wekiva up to 19 turnovers. Free throw no good. 5-point game. Wekiva with a couple of timeouts, but they've got to go in a hurry. McCarthy just now gets it across the timeline with 7 seconds to go. Smith. That's going to be it. 3-pointer, no good. And Ely has returned to the top of the girls basketball world here in Florida.
Let's just please not get hurt, anybody, please.
J.R. McNabb had the magic at Somerset Prep. Won 2 state championships in his only 2 years at the school, and he's brought that magic here to Ely. A couple of his best players transfer in to join a team that was already one of the most talented squads in South Florida, and it leads to another championship. 3rd in a row for McNabb, the first for Ely since 1992.
Can't say enough about the fight of the Tigers. And how about Williams? 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Coming up big when needed for her ball club.
Ely trailed 33-22 in the late stages of the 3rd quarter. They outscore Wekiva 29-13 to finish the game and win it by 5.
Everything started with the ability for the Tigers to turn it up defensively and force turnovers, getting transition buckets and bench scoring, leading the way for the Tigers as well, 10-0 in favor of them over Wekiva. Points off turnovers, 13-4.
A 16-point turnaround for Ely. And Wekiva's bid for back-to-back championships comes up short. Fantastic careers for Mianna Garrett, Emmy James, Briera Williams, Denisha Bowles, 4 seniors in the starting lineup for Tommy Butts. And not quite enough to get a 2nd consecutive championship, but certainly no shame in what that crew has done over the last 4 years.
Not at all, and you can be rest assured Coach Butts will go back to the drawing board and make sure his young players are back and ready to perform, but they are losing a ton of talent in James, Bowles, and Williams.
Already 2 of those seniors signed to play college basketball, perhaps a couple of more on the way. So Wekiva finishes the year 24-8. Bobby Biaggi, their athletic director, Michelle Erickson, the principal, congratulating the players on a fantastic season and a hard-fought game. It'll be Ely that gets gold medals to take back to Pompano Beach. The Tigers finished 28-6, their 3rd state championship, and first since 1992. And perhaps the start of a dynasty in South Florida with how young that roster is. We will stay with you for the medal and trophy presentations. If you're interested in those, stay with us here on our streaming coverage. But for now, for Andrick Frazier and our entire hardworking Spectrum News crew, led by producer Chris McCulley and director Zach Forrestal, Austin Lyon saying so long from the Lakeland Center. The Ely Tigers are the 6A state champions. We will see you coming up at 8 o'clock for the 7A final between Plant and Miami High.
Now, we recognize the players and coaches of the 2020 Class 6A State Championship team, the Blanche Tigers. And now, Eugene Graham will present the state championship trophy to head coach J.R. McMahon. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2020 Class 6A State Champions, the Blanche Tigers. That concludes our award ceremony. Don't forget that the Class 7A's championship game between Miami and Plant is scheduled for tip-off here at 8 p.m. The City of Lakeland, Polk County Schools, and the Florida High School Athletic Association thank you for your attendance at tonight's game. This is public address announcer Brandon Crouchett wishing everyone a good night.